Welcome to Before the Council, a reading of the Revere City Council agenda for the meeting of Monday, November 19th, 2012. There are 16 items on the agenda this week. Coverage begins at 4 p.m. with the Economic Development Committee meeting, which is chaired by Councilor Anthony Zambuto. Also on the committee are Councilors Brian Arrigo, John Correggio, Charles Patch, and John Powers. They have one item on their agenda, pursuant to Council Order 12-280. This is regarding the proposed tax increment financing, that is TIF, agreement between the City of Revere and Squire Charger Realty, LLC. At 4:30, we have the Zoning Committee meeting chaired by Councilor Reardon. On their agenda, pursuant to Council Order C-12-06, this is regarding James St. Ville's request for a special permit to further alter an existing non-conforming structure and use for the purpose of operating a special garage auto body at numbers 851 through 855 Broadway in Revere. Pursuant to Council Order 12-210, James St. Ville for a Chapter 148 license to conduct a special garage auto body shop at 851 through 855 Broadway. Pursuant to Council Order C-12-12, this is regarding the application of Metro PCS Massachusetts, LLC, 285 Billerica Road in Chelmsford, seeking permission from the Revere City Council to modify an existing telecommunications site for the purpose of installing 2 additional 1-foot dishes on lot 445/446F at number 1070 Broadway. Pursuant to Council Order C-12-13, regarding Metro PCS Massachusetts, LLC, seeking permission from the Revere City Council to modify an existing telecommunications site for the purpose of installing 4 additional 1-foot dishes on the lot at 50 Walnut Avenue in Revere. Pursuant to Council Order C-12-14, regarding Metro PCS Massachusetts, seeking permission from the Revere City Council to modify an existing telecommunications site for the purpose of installing 1 additional antenna at number 250 Revere Street in Revere. Pursuant to Council Order C-12-15, regarding Metro PCS Massachusetts, seeking permission from the Revere City Council to modify an existing telecommunications site for the purpose of installing 1 additional 1-foot dish at number 400 Broadway in Revere. Pursuant to Council Order C-12-16, Metro PCS Massachusetts, seeking permission from the Revere City Council to modify an existing telecommunications site for the purpose of installing 2 additional 1-foot dishes and 1 additional 1-foot dish at number 474 Revere Beach Boulevard in Revere. Pursuant to Council Order C-12-17, regarding Metro PCS Massachusetts, seeking permission from the Revere City Council to modify an existing telecommunications site for the purpose of installing 3 additional 1-foot dishes at number 427 Squire Road in Revere. And finally, pursuant to Council Order C-12-18, regarding Metro PCS Massachusetts, LLC, 285 Billerica Road, Chelmsford, Massachusetts, seeking permission from the Revere City Council to modify an existing telecommunications site for the purpose of installing 1 additional 1-foot dish on lot number 1A at number 204 Proctor Avenue in Revere. At 5:15, it's on to the Appointments Committee chaired by Councilor Arthur Guanasso. Here they are just requesting the reappointment of Pasquale DeFeo as a constable for the City of Revere. At 5:30, it's the Veterans Affairs Committee, chaired by Councilor Ira Novoselsky, including Councilors Robert Hass, Charles Patch, John Correggio, and Anthony Zambuto. Their one item for their agenda is protocol for the installation of memorials for veterans. Then at 6 p.m., it's on to the City Council meeting with a salute to the flag, the roll call of members, and the approval of the journal of the meeting held on November 5th, 2012. Then it's on to calendar item number 1. A certificate of commendation will be awarded to Mr. Michael Devanzo for his tireless dedication and devotion in adopting Costa Park. Calendar item number 2. Pursuant to Council Order 12-022, National Grid, Verizon, and Comcast will appear before the City Council to discuss ongoing work within the city, such as double poles and trench work. Calendar item number 3. A continued public hearing called as ordered under 12-286 upon the application presented by National Grid for a request to install underground utilities on Railroad Street in Revere. Calendar item number 4. Pursuant to Council Order number 12-272, hearing has been called as ordered upon proposed sewer use ordinance amendments to the Revere revised ordinances. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Revere as follows. An ordinance further amending the Public Service Ordinance of the City of Revere. Section A, Title 13, Chapter 13.08, Section 13.08.415 of the Sewer Use Ordinance is hereby amended by deleting the word exterior on the first line and inserting the words sump pumps after the words areaway drains on the first line. Section B, Title 13, Chapter 13.08, Section 13.08.460, Paragraph A of the Sewer Use Ordinance is hereby amended by inserting the words including from sump pumps on the second line after the words subsurface drainage. Section C, Title 13, Chapter 13.08, Section 13.08.460, Paragraph B of the Sewer Use Ordinance is hereby amended by inserting the words and or another appropriate city department after the words Department of Public Works on the second line, and inserting a new sentence, the city shall take any and all enforcement measures specified in this chapter on the third line, and by deleting the word shall and replacing it with the word may on the fifth line. Section D, Title 13, Chapter 13.08, Section 13.08.465, Paragraph B of the Sewer Use Ordinance is hereby amended by replacing the words notwithstanding any other with the words in conformance with, and replacing the word or with the word and replacing the word regulation with the word regulations on the second line. Section E, Title 13, Chapter 13.08, Section 13.08.620 of the Sewer Use Ordinance is hereby amended by replacing the words Department of Public Works with the word city on the first line. Section F, Title 13, Chapter 13.08, Section 13.08.625 of the Sewer Use Ordinance is hereby amended by deleting the language in this section in its entirety and replacing it with the following. While performing the necessary work on private properties referred to in Section 13.08.620, a representative of the Massachusetts Water Resources Authority or the city shall observe all safety rules applicable to the premises established by the owner of the private property. The owner of the private property shall be held harmless for injury or death to representatives of the Massachusetts Water Resources Authority and or the city to the extent permissible by law, shall indemnify the owner of the private property against loss or damage to his or her property by a representative of the city and against all claims and demands for personal injury or property damage asserted against the owner and to the extent caused by the city, except as such may be caused by negligence or failure of the owner to maintain safe conditions as required in Section 13.08.545. Section G, Title 13, Chapter 13.08, Section 13.08.630 of the Sewer Use Ordinance is hereby amended by deleting the words District, Massachusetts Water Resources Authority Sewage System in the first sentence, and by deleting the words Department of Public Works and replacing it with the word City in the first sentence. Section J, Title 13, Chapter 13.08, Section 13.08.645 of the sewer use ordinance is hereby amended by deleting the following words on lines 2 and 4. District, Massachusetts Water Resources Authority Sewage System. Section K, Title 13, Chapter 13.08, Section 13.08.650 of the sewer use ordinance is hereby amended by deleting the words District, Massachusetts Water Resources Authority Sewerage System on line 3. Section L, Title 13, Chapter 13.08 of the sewer use ordinance is hereby amended by adding the following new section: 13.08.651 Injunctive Relief. If a person violates the provisions of this chapter of a permit, notice, or order issued hereunder, the city may seek injunctive relief in Superior Court, restraining the person from activities which would create further violations or compelling the person to abate or remedy the violation. Such remedy is not exclusive of other remedies that may be pursued by the city or the Massachusetts Water Resources Authority. Section M, Title 13, Chapter 13.08, Section 13.08.655 of the sewer use ordinance is hereby amended by deleting the language in this section in its entirety and replacing it with the following new language. In the implementation and enforcement of this chapter, the following provisions shall be observed. A, whenever the Department of Public Works issues, denies, or modifies a permit, issues an order, or assesses charges under Section 13.08.635 or 13.08.645, the Department of Public Works shall inform the person to whom such action is addressed of the person's right to submit within 10 working days a written request for reconsideration of that action. The request shall set forth in detail the facts supporting it. The Department of Public Works shall attempt to schedule an informal interview with the person submitting the request to be held within 15 days of receiving it, and shall rule in writing on the request within 10 working days of the completion of the interview. If the Department of Public Works is, after reasonable attempts, unable to schedule an interview with the person submitting the request, or if that person fails to appear for a scheduled interview, the Department of Public Works shall rule on the request within 25 days of receiving the request. B, when the Department of Public Works proposes to revoke a permit, the Department of Public Works shall notify the user in writing of such proposed ruling of his or her right to submit within 10 days a written request for reconsideration of that ruling. The request shall set forth in detail the facts supporting it. The Department of Public Works shall schedule an informal conference with the user submitting the request to be held within 15 working days of receiving it, and shall rule in writing on the request within 10 working days of the completion of the conference. If a Department of Public Works is, after reasonable attempts, unable to schedule a conference with the user, or if the user or user's representative fails to appear for the scheduled conference, the Department of Public Works shall rule on the request within 25 days of receiving the request. C, a ruling by the Department of Public Works under subsection A or B in this section is final. Appeal may be made to a court of competent jurisdiction. D, notwithstanding any other provisions of these regulations, upon determination by the Department of Public Works that a discharge or a violation of these regulations appears to be present or to present a imminent danger to health, public welfare, or the environment, or threatens to interfere with the operations of the city's sewer system, the department may, after informal notice to the user or violator, issue an emergency order to immediately suspend the discharge or cease the violation. Any user receiving such an emergency order shall comply. Should the user fail to act, the city may take action to halt or prevent the discharge or violation, including without limitation, taking steps to disconnect the user or bringing a civil action for injunctive relief. E, enforcement and permit revocation actions taken by the Massachusetts Water Resources Authority under this chapter shall be governed by the provisions of 360 CMR 2.00. The Massachusetts Water Resources Authority reserves the right to take direct enforcement action through the courts pursuant to Section 8A, Chapter 92, General Laws, in any case of violation of this chapter. A copy of the aforementioned proposed amendment is on file and available for public inspection in the office of the City Clerk, Revere City Hall, 281 Broadway, Revere, Massachusetts, Monday through Thursday from 8:15 to 5 p.m. and Friday from 8:15 a.m. to 12:15 p.m. except for the last Friday of the month, on which City Hall is closed. Attested to by the City Clerk, Ashley Melnick. Calendar item number 5, pursuant to Council Order C-12-19. Hearing is called as ordered upon the application of Mr. Joseph Pritzio, 338 Squire Road, Limited Liability Corporation, located at 338 Squire Road, Revere, Massachusetts, seeking permission from the Revere City Council to construct an illuminated standing accessory sign, 27 feet 10 3/4 inches in height, and a total sign area of 164.78 square feet at number 338 Squire Road in Revere. Calendar item number 6 is the Economic Development Committee report. Calendar item number 7 is the Zoning Committee report. Calendar item number 8 is the Appointments Committee report. And calendar item number 9 is the Veterans Affairs Committee report. Calendar item number 10. This is a communication from the city engineer relative to the renaming of View Street in Oak Island to View Road. Dated November 7th, 2012, Honorable City Council. Please be advised that the Revere City records show 2 streets with the name View Street. One is located in North Revere off Grandview Avenue, and the other is located in Oak Island between Woodland Road and Flint Street. It has been brought to my attention that some confusion has occurred recently associated with the recent election and polling locations. To eliminate the confusion and prevent future problems, I am requesting that the council rename the View Street in Oak Island to View Road. This will create the smallest impact since there are no addresses associated with the View Street in Oak Island. Please contact me with any questions. Thank you. Regards, Nicholas J. Rystrom, the city engineer for the City of Revere. Calendar item number 11. This is a communication from the city clerk relative to bond approvals dated November 19th, 2012. I am submitting for your approval the surety bond for a municipal employee for the city collector's office of the City of Revere. And it's signed by Ashley Melnick, the city clerk for the City of Revere. Calendar item number 12. This is a communication from the Board of Assessors relative to the minimum residential factor. Dated November 13th, 2012, Dear Honorable City Council. In accordance with Section 4 of Chapter 73 of the Acts of 1986, as amended by Chapter 126 of the Acts of 1988, we request the City accept the provisions of the Act to grant additional real estate exemptions to personals who qualify under Section 5 of Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 59, for property tax exemptions in Clauses 17, 17C1, 17.5C, 17D, 22, 22B, 22D, 22E, 37, 37A, 41, 41B, and 41C. Also, in accordance with the Informational Guideline release, that is IGR, number 12-206, under Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 59, Section 5, we request approval of a cost of living adjustment for fiscal year 2013 for the statutory exemption form 17D and 41C by 2.65%. The cost of living adjustment, COLA, is measured by the increase in the United States Department of Labor, Bureau of Statistics, Consumer Price Index for Urban Consumers Boston, that is CPI-U, for the previous year. The Commissioner of Revenue has determined the cost of living adjustment to be used in fiscal year 2013 by communities that have adopted certain local options. Those options allow communities to increase annually the exemption amount granted to senior citizens and surviving spouses and minors under clauses 17, 17C, 17C and a half, or 17D. Asset limits for determining if senior citizens and surviving spouses and minors qualify for exemptions under clauses 1717C, 17C and a half, or 17D. Income and asset limits for determining if senior citizens qualify for exemption under clauses 41, 41B, or 41C. Also, in accordance with the provisions of Section 56 of Chapter 40 of the Massachusetts General Laws, the Board of Assessors requests that your Honorable City Council conduct a public hearing for the purpose of establishing the minimum residential factor so that the Board of Assessors may proceed with the establishment of the tax rate for the fiscal year 2013. Signed sincerely, Andrew A. Idavana, Chair of the Revere Board of Assessors, Dana Brangiaforte, a member and office manager, and John J. Varengia, member of the Revere Board of Assessors. Calendar item number 13. Pursuant to Council Order number 12-288, this is a motion presented by Councilor Novoselsky that the mayor appear before the City Council at its next regularly scheduled meeting to discuss the loss of playworks at the Garfield School. Calendar item number 14. Pursuant to Council Order 12-289, this is a motion presented by Councilor Novoselsky that the school department take the necessary actions to repair the roadway and sidewalk lights on Waxman Way and those adjacent to the side and rear of the Garfield School. Calendar item number 15. Pursuant to Council Order 12-290, this is a motion presented by Councilor Novoselsky that the mayor take the appropriate action for the installation of an outside tot lot at the Garfield School by Kaboom. And finally, calendar item number 16. Pursuant to Council Order 12-291, this is a motion presented by Councilor Correggio in accordance with Section 15.16.020 of the revised ordinances that the City Council fill the open 2-year appointment to the Revere Residence Monitoring Committee. Currently, 4 of the 5 positions are filled, and a full committee will be necessary to discuss future construction projects. And this has been before the Council. A reading of the Revere City Council agenda for the meeting of Monday, November 19th, 2012. I'm Rick Promise, and I'll see you at the Council.